Hello, and welcome to our ValEUs Podcast series. My name is David Arlov from Nazarbayev University, Astana, Kazakhstan. This podcast is part of the ValEUs project, the Jean Monnet Policy Network titled ValEUs Research and Education Network on Contestation to EU Foreign Policy. It's funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission for a 3-year period starting in January 2024. This ambitious project involves 20 partner institutions from 17 countries across 5 continents. It focuses on examining the foreign policy of the European Union and the challenges posed to its values. Today, we have a special podcast format as we are joined by a group of students, Bogdan, Yelara, Mireia, and Nadia, hello, from Nazarbayev University, who recently attended the summer school in Istanbul, Bilgi University, organized as part of the activities of the ValEUs project. So to begin with, how was your time in Istanbul? Did you have chance to explore the city, and why precisely this city was chosen for the summer school? Who'd like to join to begin first?
I could start. Thank you for having us for this podcast. We're super eager to share our experience because it indeed was a really nice trip and journey overall during this summer. And like even though we had a very tight schedule during the studies, we had lectures from 10 a.m. approximately until 7 p.m. in the evening. We actually had the chance to explore the city, not that much, but still we tried with other participants from other countries to explore different to districts of the city, maybe to dine out somewhere, just discuss the topics of the lectures, our general experiences. So that was pretty nice actually. And I think, of course, the choice of Istanbul was not random for this particular topic of migration and European Union enlargement, because Istanbul and Turkey, as a state, as a country, they play an active role in all of these processes that we discussed. Yeah, Istanbul and Turkey were originally the spaces where people always moved from the east to the west. So that was connected to the migration topic. And Turkey being the oldest candidate member state for the European Union was also a reason why European Union enlargement in the case of the war, in Ukraine, and new candidate member states like Moldova, Ukraine, was it was decided to discuss these things in Istanbul because our professors and lecturers, there were exceptional scholars who focused on these topics for a lot of time, and they could share very insightful information about it.
Thank you, Bogdan. The program was titled, as far as I know, Migration and Enlargement in the Wake of the War in Ukraine. From your perspective, why do you think this theme was specifically relevant today, and how did it shape the discussion during the school?
Hello, I think I can answer this question. I mean, from a Central Asian perspective, especially as a Kazakhstani, given our geopolitical realities, I think the questions of EU enlargement and migration in response to the war directly connects with our concerns about regional security and our political alignment. And this topic, I believe it's deeply connected with the core values of European Union. For instance, migration, it's not just policy issues, they are human stories regarding human rights, democracy, and especially after hearing the Ukrainian participants' personal experiences, it reminded me that EU values, they're never abstract ideals. They should have real world implications. Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone would like to add to that. Okay, then let's move to another question. How did you gain insights into world politics during the program? Was there any creative or interactive methods, such as simulations or forms of gamifications that made the learning process, that facilitated the process of learning?
We had like our lectures were structured mostly in the way that we had our professors present for like 50 minutes, and then we had a break, and then they presented for other 50 minutes, and then we had some time for Q&A session with students. So this mostly the structure of the lectures was like that, but one lecture was standard out from all of others because we had a simulation game. It was a lecture about a refugee crisis on Polish-Belarusian border. And we had a simulation game where we had several actors, and we had to choose which actor we want to be. And then we had to negotiate with other actors and try to solve this issue. It was an interesting game for me because I'm a sociology student, and I don't really know much about the world politics, like how they are made. Yeah, of course I read news and get a lot of information from some of my sociology courses that focus on international politics, but mostly it's a new topic for me. And it was interesting because we learned that negotiations are actually really difficult to do. And we learned that each actor has its own goals and interests, and mostly they are different. And due to these differences, it's really difficult to find a common ground. But in the end, we found a solution that wasn't very feasible, in my opinion, because like this Polish-Belarusian refugee border crisis lasts for many years, and there is no solution yet. And it's funny how we like students from different countries decided that we can find a solution. And the thing that I learned thanks to this simulation game about the world politics is that there are many people involved, and each of them needs support from other actors that are also involved. But the thing is that some actors do not want to commit to these EU values that is like the main topic of this summer school. For example, Polish authorities violated human rights, freedom of movement, etc., etc. But due to the fact that they see this crisis as a threat to their borders and to the integrity of the European Union, they just continue with their acts, and it's difficult to say who is right and who is wrong in this situation.
Interesting.
That were my major takes.
That's a great take. And beyond theoretical knowledge, it's a practical knowledge, of course, what you gained. What are other practical lessons or particularly insightful moments that you took away from the classes? Anyone else would like to add?
Yeah, I actually wanted to add to what Mirei has said about how we learn about world politics like during the summer school, because an important thing was the simulation game, because we got this different roles, like, and even inside our like country team, like in Kazakhstan we had 4 people. We all were in different groups, like some were like Belarusian authorities, some were representing NGOs, some representing Polish authorities. Like it was a good setting, yeah, to explore things, to learn things from each other. But the members, the students who were like participating there with us, I guess they were like the main source of insights as well. Yeah, because for instance, we had a girl from Poland. And like her insight was pretty much interesting because she did not choose to represent Polish authorities. She represented some NGOs, I guess, or European Union authorities. And just like not even like this girl from Poland, but from different countries, they were expressing their own opinions, and they were all around Europe. And it was just interesting. Like we're from Kazakhstan, we're not that involved into this politics of Europe on our day-to-day basis. It was interesting to learn from them and to bring our own insight to this as well. But of course, that was not like the only time we had the opportunity to practically explore things. Of course, like we had a lot of very useful theoretical lectures that could that made sure that all participants they were on the same page in understanding the history of European Union, the world, like the political dynamics and so on. But I'd highlight our lecture that we had like a presentation, more of a presentation from representative of a NGO, Turkish NGO, which was like Association for Solidarity with Asylum Seekers and Migrants. And this representative, she was like enacting lawyer at that NGO, and she came and presented the whole case of this organization that started just like a local organization in Ankara in 1995, and now it's spread across Turkey, and it has offices around Europe. And it was just and because they were advocating for these migrants and refugees, asylum seekers, like during like one of the most intense periods of this migrant crises and in Europe, it was just interesting to ask her questions about all the difficulties, all the complexities, all the entanglements with like work cooperation with government, cooperation with other international organizations. And of course, it was a very valuable chance for all of us to ask these questions and juxtapose them with the theoretical knowledge that we get, the historical knowledge, the policy knowledge, with the real life experience and real life like realities of like making decisions in this like often states of emergency.
Yeah, sounds like a great experience then. How many people were there in terms of networking? Who did you connect to? What did you learn from these people, from mentors and as well as from peers?
As Bogdan said, we had a student from Poland, and we were like me and this student were in one team for the simulation game, and she asked like us, her team members, to give our own opinions on the topic because she believed that her opinion is rather subjective than objective, since she's from Poland and she experiences the consequences of this crisis. She knows a lot about it, but her knowledge might be influenced by propaganda that is widespread in media, for example. So she asked for our objective opinions, and that was a really like a moment to learn that we can actually gain different insights from each other because all of us have different backgrounds. There were like if I'm not mistaken, like 25 students from different countries and different universities. Like we had students from the United States, Germany, the Netherlands, Poland, Ukraine, Italy, Mexico, and many other parts and regions of the world. It was a nice experience to connect with all of them and to learn about their culture, their societies, and their opinions on different events that are happening in our world now, both politically, sociologically, and culturally. And even now, we stay in touch with some of them. Um, For example, like we got our Instagram accounts, we got our LinkedIn accounts, and whenever we need to discuss something, we can just text them. Um, yeah, it was a really nice opportunity for networking.
Thank you, Mireille. I think we could probably elaborate even more on what you have just said. The program brought together participants from different countries, and how did this international environment enrich your understanding of the topic of migration? And did you feel that we are from Central Asia? Did you have a feeling that your experience probably was different from the experience of other participants from the EU or from across the globe, such as from Mexico, for example? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I think I just want to add that the overall international environment of the program indeed enriched at least my understanding of this topic, because the topic is about migration and enlargement of EU, and we as Kazakhstani students, we do have like a little bit of an outsider look on the situations happening in EU. And I think it's really interesting to kind of compare and contrast our perspectives and how they differ, or how they actually have some moments of intersecting moments. And also, I think that considering the EU values framework, I think this program helped to kind of consolidate my own view on these values, such as solidarity, human rights, democracy, freedom, etc. Because those are EU values they adhere to, or at least they try to adhere to, because during our lectures, it was covered that it's rather an ideal, not something that is practically being applied in real life. However, I do think that I do want the Kazakhstan to aspire to those values, and in general, this international environment helped me to build like more holistic understanding of the topic, and also kind of what I kind of understood for myself is cooperation and its significance. Because when we cooperate with people from different regions, and we consider different perspectives on the same matter, it does help to form more or less like a outlook that is closer to the reality.
Thank you, Adia.
Yeah, I could add to this, like connecting to like what Mireille said about the simulation game, because it was a really like as she mentioned, like a complex task that real politicians cannot resolve up until now, like from 2021. Currently, it's not resolved still, and like we were given this task to try to find some solution, give reach some understanding and so on. And like what Adia said is really what we had to do, because we all had so different distinct experiences, different opinions, different outlooks and perspectives on things, and like we were representing different political actors, but still like we had to have in mind that we have to come to a solution, have to come to a compromise, have to come to some understanding of each other. And that was like for me a key insight, yeah, that you can't just hold on to what you have now and be like super like hold to your principles without like ever questioning them. Yeah, because a big topic was also about contestation of EU values, about challenging of these values, because they are being challenged all the time now, like with all this political crisis, wars, and so on. And the thing is, they should be contested. Yeah, it shouldn't be just like stability and we all just believe in our values and we defend them. Oh, sorry. We should always contest them to contest them to be like confident, to be sure that what we are defending, what we are aspiring to, is what is really what should be aspired. Yeah, really what should be defended. Yeah, and together, like as a community there, like this 25 people, we could grasp the idea of the importance of this compromise, importance of this understanding, regardless of our different backgrounds.
Yeah,
Thank
and adding to that, sorry.
Please go ahead, Miri.
Adding to that, Adia mentioned that these EU values are just ideals, and each country views them from their own perspective. So I think this really adds uh, like additional layer to this topic of contestation of EU values, even within the member states of the European Union. Um, the authorities of these member states have like differing perspectives about these EU values, like human rights, freedom of speech, etc., etc. All of these things are not understood universally across even the member states of the European Union.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also, sorry, wanted to add that even though those values they exist, unfortunately, due to some practical reasons such as securitization of states, again, as Mireille mentioned, the thing that migrants are viewed as threat and something like they might kind of threaten the stability within the state, it also kind of acts towards forgetting the values and kind of putting them aside. And I think it also should be talked about enough, again, in order to bring up the values again and try to bring them to the table when we are talking about migration.
Ilara, would you like to add as well to the lasting impressions that you got from the school?
Sure. I mean, for me, the lasting impression was that the program itself was very diverse. First of all, we had very knowledgeable and excellent professors who hold lectures from very different perspectives to learn the subject of migration. For instance, I learned about the situation of the Syrian migrants in Turkey. We learned about, as all of my colleagues mentioned, the Belarus, Poland migration crisis. And secondly, I would say we also had like various ways of teaching. For instance, I remember we listened to one Ukrainian song and analyzed the lyrics of it. We visited the museum, which is located right on campus. We had several guest lectures and the simulation games as well. So it was very diverse. But informally speaking, we also had this lunch and dinner conversations with participants from all over the world. For instance, I remember talking about the educational system with our American friends, our friends from Netherlands. And it reminded me that even though we have this kind of diverse backgrounds, yet in so many ways we're so similar. So I think that's the lasting impression for me. Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, as far as I know, all of you are senior students. You probably have capstone projects, and maybe each one of you could tell us if you are going to discuss these topics, what you've learned during the summer school as part of your capstone projects, or in the future study in academic career.
Yeah, I think I want to add that before coming to this summer school, I already have written some papers regarding migration. For example, Bogdan and I, we together took a class on policy, and we wrote a paper about labor migration of Uzbeks to Kazakhstan. And this topic itself was really captivating to me. And after I came to the summer school, I realized that actually I'm super interested in this topic and I would rather continue deepening my knowledge in this field. That's why for my capstone project, I would like to write about migration. Specifically, I want to take a topic of different labels that are put on people who migrate to Kazakhstan. For example, refugee, we don't have refugee. I mean, not to that extent like in EU. That's why I'm taking labels such as kandas, migrant or foreigner, and how people's attitudes are formed based on these labels and how they shape like the relations of people towards those people who are migrating. And I think this topic is closely related to the summer school, where we already covered how migrants are perceived and how they're treated. That's why I'm really, I think that this summer school was really helpful experience for my future endeavors in writing my capstone.
Adia, thank you. Would anyone else like to add about your future
Yeah,
plans?
I wanted to add about my capstone project. It's not directly connected to migration, but it's still like the school, summer school, still impacted my decision. I'm going to study Uzbek ethnic group in Kazakhstan, Uzbek diaspora, and how they what methods do they use to preserve their cultural identity and ethnic identity? So I think it will be an interesting topic to discuss. And I know that Bogdan is also doing something related to migration.
Yeah, actually, just like Adia mentioned, last semester we were working on one big paper on Uzbek labor migrants, and I guess for us both, this summer school was an important stepping stone, a milestone, like in what we're envision in the future of our academic careers. But I like for my capstone topic, I chose temporary labor migration, short-term labor migration of students in the United States. So it's not like refugees or migrants because, well, when you are an undergraduate student, it's hard to conduct such research with all of this like ethics committees and so on. But I want to stay close to the topic of migration, and like most probably for my master's degree, I will also like consider um, academic programs around that topic as well.
And maybe I can also add to this topic. Is that okay?
Of course, please.
I feel like I am a migrant myself because I moved here when I was 15 from China. So when I went to this summer school, it absolutely influenced the way I think about the migration topic. For instance, I remember when I was playing the role of NGO, we needed to take care of the migrants who cannot speak the language, which is an issue that I faced myself when I just moved to Kazakhstan. So I am now minoring in world languages, linguistics, and literature. So in the future, I do want to focus on like the language policy regarding the migrants, and yeah. So I think this summer school really provided the knowledge for it. Yeah.
Thank you, Ilara, and thanks to all of you, Bogdan, Mireya, Dia, and Sergey, Ilara. I'm really glad that you had a chance to visit Istanbul, Bilgi University, to meet these great people from ValEUs Project. Hopefully, we will learn more about your what you've just talked about your projects. Maybe we'll have other series of podcasts with you toward the end of the year, and we will talk more about it. Thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck in this academic year and in your future career. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you very much. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you.